Da-ba-da, da-da-ba-da-ba. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. Hi, I'm Christian, and this is Complete Drivel, a podcast where I talk about whatever I want to talk about. Oh, actually, no. It is. It's true. I just had a thought. So I'm moving on to this new podcast platform that I've been banging on about for the last few episodes. And I got a phone call from them, and they're talking about like social media strategies and how we're going to promote it. And then on their website, it's like, how do you explain this podcast? And I was like, oh, God, I don't know. Okay, what are the key words? Give me the words. Like what? And I was just like, oh, Jesus. Look, it's unedited. I don't do any editing. I don't know. And then I came up with the greatest tagline for this podcast, right? It's unplanned, but it always descends into dick chat. I talk about my penis. Adventures of Christian's penis. Actually, I think if Complete Drivel wasn't the name I went for, it would have been The Adventures of Christian's Penis. Or what's that show? The Adventures of New and Old Christine. The Adventures of New and Old Christian's Penis. New adventures, old adventures. Let's all share Christian's penile adventures together. Actually, one of the reviews from Kylie, she had 5 Y's in her name, was she wanted more dick chat. So I thought I would give her some more dick chat. So there will be some dick chat coming up. Oh, shit. Oh, and then what was the other keywords? They're starting an Instagram account for this podcast. I understand, social engagement, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, what pictures will you put up? And they're like, oh, what pictures do you associate with this podcast? I was like, naked men. Like, there's an account. Oh, what's the rowing account? Do you follow? Oh my God. It's an Instagram account that has everything but their penis in it. They're fully nude, but there's the penis is strategically covered with things. Row. Warwick Rowers. They've got 128,000 people, right? WARWICK_rowers, right? They're a charity calendar group. They raise funds for our boat club and sport allies and awareness against homophobia. So I don't know if they're always all gay or what the deal is. God, I hope so, because they're bloody very attractive. Oh my God. They just all got their bums out at the beach. Jesus. But they're all rowers, so they're so fit. And I was like, if there was an Instagram account Complete Drivel would take inspiration from, it is Warwick Rowers. Now, I look nothing like any of these blokes. Jesus. But they're all naked, lying, touching each other in bed together. Not in a sexual way, just like, we're taking a photo for a calendar. Oh, it's bloody, I've just turned into Creep Fest 3000. Just give me a second, I'm just scrolling through it. Oh, but they're so, you could wash your clothes on their abs. Imagine being a photographer for that, because you'd see all their peens. Anyway, I was like, that's Complete Drivel. So can you get me a bunch of naked models and I'll take some photos of them? I've got all the gear in my bedroom, plus a swing and stuff. Yeah, what? How do I have that? I don't know. What? Just make it happen. Dick chat, and I wanted to talk about, got it written down on my notes. So, bed sheets. Oh my God. Okay. I want to know, in all honesty, how often do you change your bed sheets? Because I get hit up with people with all different types of suggestions. 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. Now, you're going to be completely disgusted to know how often I change my bed sheets. Someone said to me, I wash my bed sheets every week. And I was like, are you serious? Every week? What? No. Who does that? And then they said to me, what do you mean? You don't wash them every week? I was like, of course I don't. That's so frequent. What a waste of water. And then I pretended I'm just totally lazy. The reason I don't wash them is because it's so much effort. I'm the only one sleeping in them, and I don't care. And I was like, no, I'm a water conservativist, so I don't like to waste water by washing my clothes or sheets. And then they said to me, oh, but how often are you washing your bed sheets? And they were like, every month? And I was like, no. They were like, less than that? And I was like, no. They're like, you don't wash your bed sheets every month? And I was like, ooh, this is going to go downhill fast because it's a lot worse than a month. And they were like, that is disgusting. Do you know that you sweat a litre every night and you're sleeping in 40 litres of sweat and dandruff and bed bites and hair and blah, 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 blah. And I don't care. I put dicks in my mouth. I don't care what I touch, right? I'm still alive. My bed sheets have been on my bed currently for... It was before I went away on holidays, which was back in November. And it is currently May. It's currently the end of May. So January, February, March, April, May. 5, 6, 7 months. They've been on my bed for 7 months. And I don't have a sheet. Like, I don't have a sheet. I've got a bottom sheet and a doona cover. So really, all I need to wash is the bottom sheet and 2 pillowcases. Oh, the doona cover, who cares? And I can't even be... I just can't be arsed. And it's not even that. I can just take off the bottom sheet and put on... I've got so many of them. Put on a new one within the space of 10 minutes and replace the pillow covers and just let the wash sit in there. Nah. I just do not give 2 shits about it. And then I complain about breathing issues and about health concerns. And you know what? They're all probably caused from the fact I'm sleeping in my own filth. But I'll happily just live through my breathing concerns and issues and severe skin allergies because I'm too lazy to wash my bed sheets. I would love to know, is there anyone, please, for the love of God, tell me there's other... Obviously, you have to be single. You can't be a couple. Is there a couple? Are you in a relationship and you both don't wash the sheets? Because I feel like that's unacceptable because that's gross because that's someone else's filth. But are you a single person? Now, I doubt any girls, women, will do this because I find them to be very clean. But blokes, are there any single blokes out there that just don't care? I've once slept just on my mattress because I just couldn't be bothered. I'd washed my sheets and went, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to have to make my bed. So I just slept on top of my unmade mattress with the pillow didn't even have a pillowcase and the doona didn't even have a doona cover on it. Oh, God. I am so unbelievably lazy. Tweet me at Christian Hull. I would love to know the longest you've gone without washing your sheets or just if you just take forever. I was going to do Dick Chat. Oh, what was the story I had for Dick Chat? Oh, I've got a good one. So, I've gotten to a point on Grindr and on all the 7 billion other gay hookup apps that I'm on that you just got to be honest. You just have to be honest to the people about yourself. All right, don't I used to be like, I used to weigh 73 kilos, so I'll put in current weight 73. And then, look, I'm a bit taller than what I actually am, 175 centimetres. I'm 168. Right, and then I ended up meeting up with this guy who had uploaded a profile photo of himself from 12 years prior. Right? And he was, at the time I was 24, and he was supposedly, in his photo, 29. He was like mid-40s when he rocked up. Or he had done some meth for the last 2 years and had aged terribly. So he rocks up and I open the door to be like, hi, are you my neighbour? Why are you here? And then he's like, hi, yeah, it's me. I was like, no. What do you do in that situation? So a lot of people have said to me, what do you do in that situation, Christian? Some people go, oh, thank you, but nah, I'm not interested. And then that's happened to me. Like, I'm so lazy, as you've gathered, that it's got to a point where I won't go to someone else's house. They'll just have to come to me. And I may have not updated my profile and my photos were of me when I was a little bit thinner and a little bit more attractive. And then people come over and then I open the door and they're like, oh. And they just leave. No words. They just run. Okay. And then I go, probably should update that profile. And then I update it. So this happened to me. But when people come to my house, there's nowhere for me to go because I'm already at home. So this has happened to me on multiple occasions where basically I'll get a knock at the door. I'm like, oh, here's this hot dude coming over. Yeah. It's exactly what I do mentally in my head. I won't be wearing any pants at the time because no one's got time to take pants off when they get in the door. I'll open the door and it's like, oh, damn it. It's that initial just complete letdown where the horniness just disappears. And you're like, God damn it. But that's the risk you take is when you ask them to come over to your place, the risk is that if they're lying a little bit or they've got heavily filtered high-angled photos, which is what I used to have, you've got to follow through. You just have to follow through. Like, I am not at a caliber where I can say to someone, get out, or just shut the door on them. Because then they're like, what? What's wrong? I'm like, I'm not willing to tell you that you're horrific. So I had I'll tell you both of the stories. So I had this one guy come to the door and he was in his photos, like above my league, like so attractive. And I was like, oh, why is this guy interested in gross people? But I'm like, I won't question that. I'll just Christian, just open your front door and let him in. So I opened the door and there was this man that was definitely a lot more leathery and wrinkly than the photos. Now, the photos did look like they had the Instagram filter from the 90s, but no, they were just photos from the 90s. And so I was like, oh, shit. 25. No, 20. Yeah, let's just say I was 25. And he was definitely mid-40s, which, fine. There are some 40-year-old people who are super attractive. So the oldest person I ever hooked up with was, I want to say mid-50s, and I was about 24, 25. That was when I was like really the bigger whore when I lived in Newcastle on the central coast of New South Wales. Like, I was a massive whore that would literally accept any offer. And then my standards sort of got a little bit, like, ooh, like this guy. And so he walked in and I was like, oh, shit. I'm just going to have to follow through. So he comes in and this is what happened. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. This is the following story is true, and this is what happened. All right. He took his shirt off, but it wasn't like he was like the 45-year-old men who are attractive. He was just. It wasn't Newcastle, and he was probably heavily on ice. There's P&P, which stands for party and play. And I'm 100% convinced that he had something before he arrived. And then, just to look at him, and I was like, I can't do this. He just doesn't look like a well human. And he was like, I was like, oh my God. There were teeth missing. And I was like, oh my God. Some people find that attractive. I just did not. So he leans in to give me a kiss. And I just stood there and just held my lips closed while he sort of pressed his mouth. Like, have you ever seen like a vampire eel? Those things. They're just like. That's what it was like. It was like kissing a blender, and the spinny thing was a tongue. It was so disgusting. And he definitely had about 40 cigarettes. And I just thought, oh God, Christian, you're just going to have to get this done and get him out. Now, the only way to do that is for you to, now I suggest maybe stopping the podcast here if you're very confronted, or if you've got children in the vicinity, turn it down and count to, or just scrub forward 60 seconds. So anyway, I just was like, in the zone, I was like, okay, this gentleman needs to get out of my house. 1, he's gross. 2, I'm afraid he's probably going to kill me. And 3, I'm also terrified that I'm probably going to contract some sort of STD from him. But I didn't really, because it wasn't that he was clean, but he was just, on drugs. So, oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I then did things with him, with my mouth, and he finished himself off. And that's what I do. Like when I want to get someone out of my house, but I'm too afraid to just push them out because they'll either kill me or I feel like I'll hurt their feelings, I will just go down on them and finish them off and then just be like, thank you. Oh my God, I've got to go visit my mum in hospital. Quick, leave. And that's what I did. And so I shoot this man out and he left, right? He left his keys at my place. But he didn't drive, he walked. Now this is where the ultimate Christian whore comes into place. So he left and I was like, oh God, I feel disgusting. Bit of Listerine always clears that. And I was like, that did nothing for me. Back on Grindr. So anyway, I go back on Grindr. I find, and this is when I'm like, okay, I really need to check these people out. I need to make sure, if I'm not sure about that photo, then he just sent 700 more face photos, body photos, dick photos, whatever photos. This has to be a real thing. So I upped my security in the photo stakes for Grindr. So anyway, I was chatting to this other guy who was going to come over. And so anyway, the other guy comes over and we are, midst of passion. It was great. It was so good. Like, it was really great. And I hear this. Hello. And I was like, oh my God. That man is back. Because I could see, because my front door was made of glass, but the blinds were angled and I could see him and I'm pretty sure he couldn't really see me and this other fellow. And he was banging on the door. And I was like, oh my God, he is in the midst of an ice-fueled rage. But he wasn't really. He wasn't that bad. It was just, I was terrified. And this guy was with us, like, who's that? And I was like, oh, I think it's my neighbour. He was, I don't know. He's like, hello, I've left my keys inside. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to have to do something. So I was like, oh, it's just my neighbour, So I popped some pants on and I was like trying to find his keys because I didn't want him coming in being like, thanks for your things in the things that we did to this other dude who was really hot. And then he would, I didn't want him to see old gross face, So the keys, they were just on the bench. And so I opened the door and I handed him the keys and I was like, hey, shut the door. And he's like, yeah, I'll see you again soon. And I was like, no, yes, you will. Shut the door, blocked him from Grindr, went back to good old Mr. Was he no, he wasn't a fireman. Should I tell you the fireman story? This is all new cut. Like now, I'm not as bad now. Pretty bad, but not as bad. I had a fireman come over in uniform. Should I save it for next episode? No, I'll do it now. Dick Chat with Christian. So, right, this was one of the times where this was probably the most batting above my average I've ever done in my life. And you know what? It makes you feel really good about yourself when this really hot person comes over and they have a good time and then they leave. Some sort of, is that what a sex addict says? I feel that's like what a sex addict says. It's like a drug. You're like, oh, I'm ugly. And then some hot guy comes over and you're like, maybe I'm not ugly. More hot guys, please. Boosts my confidence. So anyway, I'm chatting with this guy. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to swing by on my way to work. I've got a shift. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll be in uniform. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't ask what he did. I just didn't care. He was really attractive. Anyway, knock at the door. He comes in and he's wearing like the tight navy blue, like Bonds shirt and massive, like fluorescent, like the fireman yellow pants and then the fireman boots. And I was like, oh my God, what are you? First of all, I thought, oh no, is there a fire somewhere? And he's like, I'm here to, And I was like, yeah. You're that guy? You get in here now. And then he proceeded to take his shirt off, but he did the classic, like porn taking off of shirt. You know where you cross your hands and you grab the bottom of your shirt and then you lift it up and then your shirt comes off? And he just threw it in the corner. And I was like, I'm willing to do anything for you right now. And he was really hot. And I won't go into the nitty gritty of what happened, but let's just say it was in my top 3. I never saw him again, sadly. So I don't think I was in his top 3. Oh, and here's someone to do a podcast in the studio. Come in, Jen. Oh, no. Anyway, I've got to go. Anyway, that was a good time to end. More dick chat with Christian. I'll try and make the next podcast a little bit less dick chatty because this was 50% dick chat.